Alright, how's it going, everyone? BlackMom44, coming back at you. This is some more Tyranny. Okay, and let's just do a quick conversation, speak with Barrack first.
It is rare enough that anyone has the opportunity to proclaim an edict, much less break one. How are you holding up, Fatebinder?
I toy with powers greater than my understanding, yet I don't stop.
At least you are aware of your recklessness. I would be more concerned if the case was otherwise. Take care that you don't exhaust yourself and become worthless to the war effort. What can I do for you?
Talk later. Talk with first. You've carved out a real knack for yourself by breaking the Overlord's edict left and right. Whatever tune is paying you for your services, I'd say you're due for a raise. How does it feel? Not only have you given voice to the Overlord's will, but you're breaking Kyros' magic left and right. I'm exposing myself to powers I don't understand. War is about taking risks. And you're putting yourself out there more than anyone. Can't help but respect that. I'm here if you need me, but I don't have a mind for arcane wisdom. I'll do whatever I can to get our little gang through this war, and if it ever looks like your strength is flagging, I'll put you out of your misery and take control. Cheer up!
What do you need?
Talk again later. And Lantry.
That's twice now. By Kyros' icy nethers, twice! Edicts have been broken before, but never in all my many years have I heard of one person doing it twice.
Anybody can do it. Just think about the wording of the edict and you'll find Kyros has left options.
That's like saying winning a war is as simple as raising a giant army and making all the right maneuvers. Knowing what must be done and actually doing it, well, that's the dividing line between being a legend and being forgotten.
I am legend. That's all for now. Alright, cool. Let's head out. So we were told Bladegrave. Trapper's Junction. I want to go there, though. I want to go into these. I don't know why it's not letting me go in. It's weird. I'll accept. I go 3 days. The reason I'm not doing Lethian's Crossing is because, I don't really care that much about it. Like, they have a cool artifact, but, like, I don't really need it, so that's mostly my thing. That's set in stand. Trapper Junction first. Okay. So yeah, this actually, I think this had a different name for me. I don't think it was the Bladegrave. I think it was like the blade something. What's this guy? He's an Unbroken. Okay. Investigate Trapper's Junction, so let's find the missive. Dear Linux, based on what you've told me, it seems a stretch to believe these events are more coincidence or circumstance. Kyros' edict of execution was set up for someone to claim Ascension Hall. To think that Kyros did not know what would happen is a massive underestimation of the Overlord's long view. They have been thrust into the arena of the mighty. Your options are retreat into obscurity, suicide, or rise into the occasion. I suggest the third option. If I were you, I would use my connection to the spires to see if they will all awaken to my presence. Every Tearsman sees the spires in the horizon. If they know you are the master of the spires, they will see you every time they look to the sunrise or sunset. Foster a reputation for power. Make others fear you. This is what I've seen Kyros and every living Archon do for as long as I've lived, and there's reason for this. There's a practical case that power and a reputation insulate you from threats, but there's a lesser-known element that I can't prove, but I know in my heart to be true. The fear and love of others will strengthen your magic. This last part I've inferred from my discussions with Blood and Mark. In the few times he has spoken of his gruesome work of slaying those who might rise to threaten the Overlord, he has hinted that it's easier to kill the rogue element before they become famed and fearsome. In my lifetime, I saw Graven Ash change from an unknown militiaman to a fearsome general, and I can assure you he did not have the power to shield his warriors in those days when he was without title or reputation. The Archons will never, ever discuss the origin of their power, because such knowledge might be used against them, but I have known all the Archons to be obsessed with the presentation of power. Your connections to the Spires will all but guarantee the Archons will want to control and destroy you. It's a question of when, not if. Start thinking and acting like an Archon. As far as I'm concerned, you are an Archon. The Archon of the Spires. We are quick to place labels on powers we easily spot, and history is replete with Archons of fire and ice. It is foolish to think that there must be a word for a thing before an Archon can control it. Other way around, the Archons show us what is possible and we must step up to their dance. Ask about the Archons and how they've risen to power. Dear Myothis, I appreciate the insight and am honored by your vote of confidence. Your missive made mention of Graven Ash and how you've known of him since before he wore the title of Archon. Can you tell me more of what you observed of his rise to power? If I am indeed an Archon, it's safe to say I wasn't born knowing what I can or can't do, and it stands to reason I might learn something from the stories of the other Archons. Linux, send it. Let's go up. Looks like there's some dead fuckers. Let's take their stuff. It's always a good idea, is just take their stuff. Soldier lane and a stump. We can make out colors and insignia of the Unbroken. Shifts his head slightly towards us, but does not appear to have strength to look up. So, this is it then. Just kill me quickly. I'm in no state to continue on like this. What happened here? A battle, from the looks of it. Not a terribly impressive one, but a bloody one. Scarlet Chorus. They've been driving us across this wasteland, pressing their attack at every turn. Looks like they finally got us cornered in this pass. I was part of the first line of defense. When my comrades got wiped out, the chorus went on through. Thought myself lucky they didn't check for survivors. After a few hours, I started to change my mind. I have pressing questions. I don't have much time to regulate you with tales of stalwart history, I'm afraid. I'd rather spend these last moments remembering the true color of the sky. I suppose I'll just leave you be, then. Yeah, that's exactly how I made it sound, so we need to find Jagged Remedy.
If it means adding to their army, the Scarlet Chorus can wear anyone down. The Unbroken have held out longer than most.
Disarm this. Oh, verse leveled up. She has 19 of that. She have 55 dodge. What happened? Oh, Red Geyser, of course. Forgot. Adds bonus damage. Dual wield, she needs more quickness. Alright, still going duelist. Rapid flurry of strikes against a single flow. Each hit applies a damage overtime effect. Killing spree 2. Verse will strike 3 times with her attacks for a time. Let's do Fury's Embrace. So it's a rapid flurry of strikes against a single foe. I think that's pretty cool. Alright. Jagged Remedy. Armor and supplies clearly belong to the Unbroken are strewn around. It's hard to tell if the red accents are from blood or chorus war paint. Let's take all their shit first. It's only polite. Jagged Remedy. Alright. The Fate Binder of Tunin is recognized in my camp. Hail! They call me Jagged Remedy. You are a fair way away. You are a fair way from Tunin's court. Did he get lost, or are you here for a reason? Speak up. My gang is occupied enough without entertaining guests. Headbutt him. You first. Now that is how you get a man's attention. The Voices' new toy is as thick-headed as I'd hoped. Alright, what do you want to know? So, Traverse, you know this guy? Ugh, afraid so. I ran with him for a bit, back when his cruelty and depravity got somewhere when it came to whipping new recruits in line. Now he's just a glorified butcher who goes through conscripts like a scythe through wheat. I left around the time he started looking at me in a way I didn't like. Don't get me wrong, I like releasing my aggression on the bedroll, but with Remedy here, I thought it might be a bad idea. I assure you, first, I was interested in satisfying a very different delight. I wanted to see how much of your skin I could remove in a single piece and replace with panels of unfeeling wood. It would not have been anything personal. Oh, in that case, all is forgiven. Crazier than an old wall's rubbing, this one. What do you mean by the Voice's new toy? Can't be as dim as this, can you? Your career is on the rise, and Voices of Nerats has taken an interest. He has eyes for watching and ears for listening, both in abundance, I assure you. The way he spins it, one might think you're in line for a spot as a second, but the Voices doesn't work that way. One of two things will happen. You'll disappear. Where you end up, I'm not sure even the Voices knows. Or, one morning, we'll simply find you impaled on a spike, and that will be that. The Voices doesn't tolerate ambition for an instant longer than it serves his goals, and he's too old to retain anything that fails to amuse him. If the risk of dealing with an artist like the Voices is too high, maybe you should have thought about that before getting his attention. That's none of my business. Sizing me up earlier, why? He's a degenerate and a pervert, but that shouldn't stop you from heeding his counsel. He's a good boss. Thank you, Verse, for your frank and elucidating perspective of my qualities. No offense intended. I make human anatomy my business. When I spot a specimen of interest, I take heart. If we were enemies, I would drain your organs one by one, just to see what the imbalance of humors might do to you. I would open holes in your skull and puppeteer your exposed tendons. Alas. What are you doing to your arm? Learning, as I always do. I'm hoping to make a breakthrough on pain tolerance, and in this case, the best lessons are self-taught. I had focused more on my gang and toughened them up, but testing their limits is chancy. The sort of activity that begs for an uprising now and have the time or the manpower to cull these weasels into order while we're hunting Unbroken. Who are you? Boss of these mongrels, the Putrid Rash Gang. They're my mates, my bloodletters, and a useful source of living tissue when my experiments run dry. I've been at war since it began. At least we have that in common, Harbinger. Your experiments. Alchemists and Chirungians may have fancy titles and all the rare herbs you can shake a spear at, but they all share one thing. They don't spend time in the front lines. They haven't seen wounds evolve from fresh to grotesque. They know nothing of cobbling together healing solutions from what's practically available and far from home. We're not disfavored. We don't have the luxury of wounds that close by the love of our Archon. Someone has to find a better way. So I study my prisoners from the tips of their hairs to the black of their humors, and I learn. And when we're light on prisoners, I use my gang. Or myself, for that matter. I once read about some arcane healing methods inspired by the Archon of Wounds. Just theories, nothing I put into practice. Astonishing. If you have the time, I would love to hear about the Archon's teachings. Book reading was not among my rudimentary education. That's what we discuss. You have a remarkable mind for your art, Fatebinder. Thank you. Oh, God damn it. Enough questions. Satisfied your curiosity, then? Good, we can move on already, with you telling me why you're taking up valuable breathing room. Voices wants to invite some influential people to the chorus. I'm here to help. Strange to see a servant of Tunin picking sides, but I suppose they are strange times, and you have your reasons. Our goals complement each other nicely. Perhaps I shouldn't judge so harshly the Fatebinder who quenched the flames of the burning library. Unless you plan on setting me afire with Kyros' magic. We've cornered a group of soldiers in the past. I understand that one of them is the Unbroken leader, Matthias. The Voices of Nerats has been adamant about inviting people of influence into our ranks. He wishes to learn as much as he can before he breaks them. In keeping with the Voices' directive, I want to conscript Matthias and his unit and add their strength to my gang. The whole thing has proven troublesome, but we're about to introduce these once proud locals to their breaking point. So how have you managed the recruitment so far? The same way you hunt any large, ungainly beast, wounding it until it lays exhausted and bleeding in the mud. Nighttime raids, daytime ambushes, and cutting off their food supply have softened the meat for the butcher's block. Once these southerners learn to give up their pride, they will be ours. Do you have a hard time conscripting soldiers? Soldiers put up a big show of resisting us, but that only makes their conquest all the sweeter. Pressing drunken sailors into service lacks the satisfaction of a job well done. Soldiers need less breaking in. They won't cry themselves to sleep like a farmhand or midwife recruited to the front lines. Simply take up their weapons to fight for a better cause. Ours. So I'm here to help. What's the problem? Excuse me. These rebels won't give up without a fight, but they're useless to me as corpses, unless stalwart meat keeps better than pork. I want you to convince them to join my crew. And use that charm and skill that won you the Sunset Spire. How could those backwood ingrates do aught but respect the person who owns the highest building in Lethian's Crossing? The Unbroken should be pushovers by now. We bled them nearly dry, and they all prove malleable. But talking, negotiation, not my strong suits. Speak with them. Convince them to put down their rusted poles and join our ranks. So, what were the Unbroken doing before you cornered them? They spent the last year trying to reach Sentinel Stand Keep, the heart of Old Starward and Bastion of Strength. Of course, the Edict of Storms cut off the old fort from the rest of the realm. Unit here in Trapper's Junction looks to have some big players in the Unbroken hierarchy. Such a thing even exists. We've intercepted some birds they've dispatched in haste. Seem to be directing other Unbroken officers in the region. If we snag their leader, Matthias, that could open the path to more recruits. So what's the deal with the Edict of Storms? He only knows as much as I need to. Problem of this region are graven ashes to handle. We're just here to make things worse for him. Only a coward stands back while others fight. I didn't compete for my spot in Kyros' army to share the war with the likes of this freeloader. Strayus Herodin, the regent of Old Stalwart, hid behind the walls of Sentinel Stand during the war. Of all the ruling bloodline to fight for the country's freedom, he was the last. To punish him for his cowardice, Kyros drafted this edict and cursed the regent bloodline. As long as Herodin lives, the storms will continue unabated. Of course, we're not here to end the edict. That would be helping Graven Ash and his troops. Voices just wants to bring more southerners into the chorus. So what do you want out of the Bladegrave? You mean beyond taking pleasure in watching the disfavored scramble for purchase in the sad little war of theirs? Conscription. The desperate and defeated make for the finest warriors, capable of the ultimate sacrifice. What else do they have to lose? So what's so special about the Unbroken? They're a more stubborn, hardier folk than you'll find anywhere in the tiers, outside the Beastmen, of course, and it helps that they put up a decent fight against the disfavored. I invite that strength into my gang any day. New conscripts are disposable. They're not likely to survive their first battle, so there's little point in arming them with anything better than a sharpened stick. Soldiers, though, they come with their gear and training in tow. They're the real prize. I thought that Ash forbade the Scarlet Chorus from entering the Bladegrave. You see Graven Ash here, swinging his hammer with wild abandon? Neither do I. We're in the middle of a civil war. Until the dust settles, Graven Ash doesn't own this region any more than I own Tunan's gavel. Actually, I decided to form my own gang. No thanks. I'll help you conscript as many Unbroken as possible. Aren't you generous with your time? Voices will hear of your devotion to our cause, assuming the Unbroken don't shatter your courtly bones. Let me know when you've convinced that ragged group of upstarts to join our honored ranks. Alright. Oh look, there's an Iron Walker, there's a Bronze Armiger. What's their deal? Bitbinder, help me! Kyros, help us! Alright, so these guys have some stuff. So, I'm gonna quick save here. just in case, because I want to get, like, maximum help with these guys. No entry by this gate. Head north if you wish to state your business here, otherwise turn back now. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it looks like we have to head north, I guess, right? There's a body. So let's keep looking around. Seems like a good idea. Take that. There's some horde up here.
Might we not simply break it?
Oh, I don't break things. Yeah, heathen.
Won't happen.
Quick save here. Speak with Skyblade. Unbroken warrior stands sentry with thick lines of exhaustion under her eyes. Who treads on unbroken lands? Everyone who comes to Trapper's Junction these days is involved in the war somehow. State your intentions. I'm not above killing you just to be safe. I've come on behalf of the Scarlet Chorus to deliver the terms of surrender. Surrender? To those madmen? Stay your weapon, soldier. We'll hear this visitor's terms. Is that Matthias? Who is that? Yep. He looks pale and worn. He wears every scar and concern twitch with the veteran's dignity. Matthias, captain of these troops here in Trapper's Junction, and to the whole of the Unbroken. Captain, what's left of us anyway. I buried a lot of good soldiers over the last fortnight, and you can hardly consider this our full strength. I've been in the storm too long to hear much news from outside it, but word of mouth has clued me into your features, Fatebinder. I'm a little preoccupied dealing with Kyros' armies to deal with Kyros' dignitaries, if you don't mind. Jagged Remedy and his chorus gang give me a headache of edict-like proportions. He speaks like he's a highborn, Barrick mutters. Cousin to a regent, maybe. Weak blood, might be intelligent, but clearly his spine has given out under the pressures of war. Seems to be the problem. There should be no mystery to you, who pledge fealty to the Voices of Nerats. No doubt you witnessed your share of recruitment horrors in the past. The gang in our shadow has hunted us for weeks, launching surprise attacks in the middle of the night, starving us, bleeding us dry, and hoping that we'll finally give in to conscription. We may not be as strong as we were in days past, but we can still put up a good fight. My only fear is that our next will be our last and that our days are numbered. Much as I hate it, it's starting to look like conscripting with the chorus is our only chance of survival. What are your options? The choice put forth by this gang's leader, Jagged Remedy, is simple. Conscript or die. I don't know if I'm ready to sacrifice these good men and women to the Voice of Nerats and its mob of lunatics. If it comes down to a choice between life or death, I'll choose life every time, but the challenge then is dealing with those who don't share my opinion. I'm surprised that the Unbroken still tarry in this wasteland of a realm. What are you still doing here? This wasteland is our home. Believe it or not, we have centuries of history and tradition wrapped up in this place. Kyros' storms can level homes and weather our monuments to featureless nubs, but the sons and daughters of Stalwart are here to stay. As to what we're doing, should I give up all of our secrets to the forces of Kyros then? Suffice it to say, we're taking our lands back from your overlord's army, but it's something of an uphill battle. What are you trying to achieve here? What I want can hardly be a mystery to you. We're in the middle of a war. Suffice it to say, we want the forces of Kyros to withdraw our stick halberds up their asses, whichever comes first. Our loyalties aside, I think I speak for everyone when I say I'd love to see that as well. In the immediate present, I'll settle for an end to the Edict of Storms. It has some wartime advantages. We can attack and travel under cover, disfavored all but blind to our movements. Advantages aside, I want this war to end. I want Stalwart to be free again, and for this edict to end so that we can bring peace to a land that is losing its grip, even if that means throwing in with the enemy. How certain are you that you're ready to join the chorus? I suppose you asked from a place of personal interest. The longer I weigh my options, the fewer I have. By the time the chorus is our only option, I'll have lost more of my countrymen than I'm willing to allow. I want to survive this war. If I could just convince my soldiers that joining the Scarlet Chorus was the right choice, if they could only see reason. It's a sad day when a leader must turn his back on his culture to save his people. I wonder if I have the stomach for it. If I joined you in camp, I might be able to offer a more informed opinion. That's fine. If you keep a civil tongue and your weapons to yourself, you're welcome to accompany me beyond the defenses. Come speak to me in private when you have a moment. Your coming here might be useful. Taking the stuff. Yeah. Rust covered makeshift tent and survived the worst weather of the tears.
Spotted something.
Let's F6. Our options are limited, or don't you understand that? Only limited by your short-mindedness. And now you dare to welcome a fate binder into our midst. Erentis. Charmed, I'm sure. Have you already sold out our brethren to Kyros' lapdogs? What would you have me do, Erentis? Send our weak and wounded into slaughter next? Should we send our children next? How much of our blood must be spilled before this rebellion is satisfied? Continue listening. All of it. That is what the leader of our great rebellion would have said, but I'm afraid he must be counted as a casualty in this war like the rest. How many enemies must we collect? Our goal has always been to take back Sentinel Stand, kill the last regent, and end this blasted edict. Impossible task by any standard. No time to lose control of yourself, Captain. Your soldiers are listening. You're right. That was beneath me. I'm frustrated because I don't know what to do for my people except use our strength to avenge Stalwart on the regent who betrayed us. The chorus can give us the strength, and I faltered. What we have here is a failure of leadership. If a gang boss couldn't convince her troops to march, then the chorus would get a new gang or a new boss, whichever died first. If vengeance is all you seek, then maybe you belong with those bloodthirsty dogs. Don't assume that the rest of us will be joining you. Alright, so then he walks away. My apologies for that. Erentis lost as much as anyone in this war, and his reaction is about what I expected. Surrender is a kick in the teeth, but it may be all we have left. I have led this rebellion since the waning days of the war. But my foes grow more numerous every day. That has favored the chorus, the regents, and I must ask you, Fatebinder, do you approach this camp as ally or enemy? The Voices of Nerats extends an invitation to the Scarlet Chorus. Huh. And it seems the Howling Mob has benefited from allying themselves with Tunan's court. They don't usually try and negotiate with us first. We faced some real difficulties of late. Some of us had hoped that the worst of this was behind us in the bones of Stalwart. It's starting to look like the opposite is true. Tell me of your difficulties. Our real troubles began with the victory at Sentinel Stand. Instead of facing Kyros' forces in the field of battle, the last regent of Stalwart decided to barricade the keep and look after himself. When Kyros proclaimed the edict, it cursed the regent bloodline for their stubbornness. Maybe I shouldn't speak too freely about our troubles. The war, this chase around our homelands, you can probably tell that's taken a significant toll on me. My soldiers and I are half mad from hunger and exhaustion, mad enough to entertain the idea of conscription. Have any questions for me? How do you plan on breaching the keep walls? Assuming we get the chance to cross the wind wall around Sentinel Stand, we'll simply blast the walls to rubble. It's not actually that simple at all. Our alchemists have spent the last several months experimenting with powders and oils that can loosen stone or weaken fortifications. They came up with something far more dangerous, a powder that explodes on contact. Stuff is too chancy to carry into battle, but too good to pass up as a siege breaker. You call the last battle of Sentinel Stand a victory? It's true. No one was cheering when the Edict of Storms hit us and destroyed most of our fighting force, but that didn't end the battle. It just stretched into an uneasy stalemate with the disfavored, which continues to this day. The defenders at Sentinel Stand had imprisoned a disfavored legion. I'll bet that Graven Ash would have pulled his troops back if we threatened to push some of the captives over the rampart walls. Pity we never got the chance. A despicable notion if I ever heard one, Fatebinder. I have no wish to speak with this broken man further. He has information we need. Another moment. If you must, though I would just dispense with the talk and beat it out of him instead. You will fight this war however you choose. I thought stalwart fighters never surrendered. That seems like a bad choice. What's to be done about the stalwart regents? It's just the one regent now. Stratus Herodin is a lord of Sentinel Stand, the great fortress at the heart of our realm. As the last member of the regent bloodline, the Edict of Storms will persist until he dies. That can happen willingly or unwillingly. Herodin would have been charitable if he killed himself after the edict hit, a hero to the realm in truth, but instead he's chosen the coward's path. Cruel as it may seem to end his life to end the edict, the storm has claimed many lives, more lives by far. The Unbroken will do anything to see it finished. Even conscript with the Scarlet Chorus, it seems. Join the Scarlet Chorus is your best bet to reach Sentinel Stand. It's true. The Howling Mob have their own reasons to take the Ancestral Keep. I don't know their thoughts on the edict itself, but I know that not even the Voices of Nerats could stop me from driving a blade through the heart of Stratus Herodin. I don't blame Irentis for his stubbornness, though. The Scarlet Chorus haven't exactly made the kindest of offers, and I'm not convinced myself. Maybe a sign of their good intentions would help sway our opinions. If we knew a certainty that they wanted to keep us alive, my men and women would be more inclined to surrender. Sign of their intention, what of yours? The chorus needs to know that you're totally committed. You're right, of course. Should we keep resisting them, the chorus would be within their rights to take us prisoners or combatants, which would only make the transition harder. What would be required? No. Blood offering naturally. Maybe a blood offering naturally, yeah. I suppose I should have seen that coming. I bled enough on this mad chase, but I suppose it was for the wrong reason. I hope that's enough to convince your friends I am with their cause. You should know something's going into this, though. My soldiers won't be convinced unless the chorus offers something in return. A fair number of us were captured in our last scuffle. If the chorus were to release those prisoners as a gesture of good faith, my Unbroken here would be more amenable to the idea of conscription. I'll see what I can do. If you manage to make any ground, you'll know where to find me. I think any small gesture will make me more inclined to trust the Scarlet Chorus, but I have doubts where my countrymen are concerned. This war will get worse before it gets any better.
Let's be off.
Oh, I think I turned it off. Rentis, formerly the personal guard of Regent Haptia. At least before the war made short work of her, now I run with Matthias and what remain of the true patriots. I don't need a reason to kill you, servant of Kyros. I stay my sword until Matthias gives the order. If you intend to conscript us into the Scarlet Chorus, I can assure you that these men and women are ready to die. Tell me of the regents. They were our ruling family before Kyros came and dismantled the order and organization of this realm. All but one of them died in battle. There's one more regent still kicking, but that should be obvious. It was your overlord's edict that trapped him where he remains to this day. Tell me about the Unbroken. We're the sons and daughters of a new stalwart. We want to take the harsh lessons of this fallen nation and rebuild it into something better than it was. But you're not making it easy for us, are you? Piece of course garbage. I hope the Voices of Nerats buggers you with the business end of his golden scepter. That's one of those things where I don't need to see it happen to know that's probably happened. You're not seeing the bigger picture. Joining the Scarlet Chorus is your only chance at survival. Survival at what cost? You don't have a clue what it means to live outside of Kyros' authority, so I wouldn't expect you to understand. We value more than our masters and whatever arbitrary system of law they impose. We have more to lose, but we will risk everything to protect it. I'm sorry that you don't see it that way. What a crybaby. Risking lives for nothing. Alright, let's save again. What are you still doing here? Have I not explained what's expected of you? Get going. The Unbroken leader might be swayed if you release some of your prisoners. Give up my prizes? Those were the best of the lot, among the finest specimens I've taken of late. I wouldn't dare part ways with them. The ones I don't keep for my studies are going to the Voices of Nerats. The chances are fair that we'll just conscript them anyway once our intentions are clear to the rest of this group, but I don't want to risk any of these prisoners slipping through my fingers. Matthias or one of his intrepid officers could dispatch them away to seek help. Matthias has pledged his fealty to the chorus already. He promises that the rest will follow. And you were so taken in that you believed his fabrication? Even now he could be plotting against us, fool. I won't accept offers of fealty unless the prisoner is lying prone and at the tip of my spear. What did this Matthias deign to offer you? He made a blood offering. Call me impressed. That a servant of the court would even entertain such an offer is curious. Perhaps there's hope for the laws of our fair empire yet. And favor 5 with the Scarlet Chorus. It sounds as if you have sufficiently earned the young captain's trust. If he guarantees that soldiers will fall in line without struggle, we can entertain this token gesture of theirs. What would please you most, Fatebinder? Release the unbroken prisoners. An act of goodwill should set the appropriate tone. However, the diplomat. I prefer to keep my engagements with others simpler, letting knives and leeches do the talking for me. To each their own, I suppose. Consider it done. Go treat with the young captain and make sure his soldiers are ready for what comes next. Visage of Terror. There we go. We did it. So, of course, we will quick save right here, because I don't trust this guy. Matthias is still at the fire. My brethren have been returned to us. I don't know how you did it, but you managed to reason with the Scarlet Chorus. Or should I say the Chorus is more reasonable than I thought. So be it. If the Scarlet Chorus are willing to show this much good faith, we will take ourselves over to their mercy. We couldn't take Sentinel stand as Unbroken, but there's still a chance to liberate Stalwart from the oppression of the region and this edict. And there's Douchebag McGee. The chorus spared our soldiers. The Fatebinder here ensured that they would keep their word. The doom that visited these canyons may soon subside. Come and share in this small victory, Arentis. You're impressed that a gang of liars spared a handful of us so that they could lull the rest of our fighting strength with false promises? When your future gang boss is branding you with his sigil or cutting your face for speaking out of turn, I hope you remember this blind optimism. Your confidence in the Scarlet Chorus disgusts me, Matthias. They pay you one fair turn, you buy into their war as an eager conscript. I can't tell if you're desperate or just a liar. Matthias made a decision to save his soldiers from certain death. An impossible choice for anyone under the circumstances. Not that I would have done it myself. Burying our traditions and freedom is no better than burying the dead. Matthias, I renounce you as my commander. Stand with me if you wish to fight as children of Stalwart, and die fighting those who would take our land and bury our customs. Fatebinder, you divide our coalition with empty promises. Not by my authority, then by my right as a son of the Unbroken, you will not leave Trapper's Junction alive. That's cute. I've killed worse than you. Arentis, this will be the end of us. You take up arms against the only allies within reach. The only ones who can bring down the disfavored and... You won this from the beginning, Arentis. Don't hide behind your delusions of patriotism. I saw the weakness in our captain and brought him ample opportunities to correct his behavior. He failed me. Your intervention brought his failings to light, so I suppose I owe you thanks. Since the daughters of Stalwart, take down these would-be saviors who would sell you out for petty revenge. Let us restore this country on our terms. Yeah, so then there's a bunch of them. So bear with me. I'm gonna see if I can actually convince Orentis to side with us. So there will probably be a little bit of a skip here, but don't worry about it, okay? Alright, hey guys. So turns out Orentis will fight you no matter what, so you have to kill him. Have to. That's not really a surprise, but it looks like that we have numbers. So in that case, I mean, I'm not overly concerned. We can probably take him down quite easily. Well, we'll try to fuck them all up from back here. We can do frozen grass.
Do you have eyes on this?
I don't know why you got caught up with this guy. I don't recall saying anything about him. Oh wait, no, I don't have that thing, right?
Not a problem, boss. Count on it.
Stalwart prevails!
Yeah, fuck all y'all. Matthias, Orentis was a good officer. Damn his eyes. We served together for a long time. It's too bad he got caught up in the country's old sense of honor and lost sight of what's important. Survival. You would have served the chorus better alive. It's a pity. I'll go with you. Tell the gang boss who's been hounding us that we're willing to join now. In spite of everything, I hope we don't lose ourselves in their ranks. I hope. Stalwart. Yeah, so he's a little bit bummed out, right? So it's sort of like, you know, joining the other side. It's sort of shitty. Oh, that disfavored dude looks fucking dead, doesn't he? Alright, so let's go up. Nice job! You managed to get a good number of them to join. And less of them died than if we went with our usual methods. Voices of Nerats clued me into your mission. With Matthias absorbed into the ranks, our final prize is Amelia, the wayward daughter of Graven Ash. You keep your hands off the Archon's daughter, wretched thing! Sentinel Stand is the seat of the old Stalwart Regent, the ruling power of the realm. Amelia hasn't been seen since the second year of the conquest. If she's alive and in Stalwart, I'll wager she's there. Since Matthias knows the region, I'll meet you there to go over your next move. I'll send him with the chorus escort, so he gets properly welcomed into the ranks, if you get my meaning. I'll cooperate under one condition. I want to get inside Sentinel Stand and kill the last regent. We fought for vengeance against Stratus, Herodin, and at the end of this edict. Even if I no longer raise my sword under an unbroken banner, I would see our work done before I succumb to the chorus. You have a deal. That isn't your decision to make. The Voices of Nerats wants the Edict Storms to remain and plague at Graven Ash. For the time being, we have no cause to kill Stratus Herodin. However, I can think of many reasons why we should take control of Sentinel Stand, not least of which is to secure Ash's wayward cub Amelia. Matthias, your wish is granted, but only if you cooperate and do as we say. Then it's settled. Once we reach Sentinel Stand and oust the old Regent from power, I'll submit to the Voices of Nerats. Meet me at the windmill outside Sentinel Stand. It's important that you see what we're up against before we decide the next steps. Alright, so next, we will be going to Sentinel Stand. First things first, I'm gonna go ahead, go over here, and I'm gonna start looting. So let's loot. Alright, so there's something to loot. Oh shit, that's just a campfire. Yeah. Oh, look, there's just a weapon. Just chilling. Iron Greatsword. I'll take it. So, look here, it's Orentis' notes. They describe the relentless conscription efforts of the Scarlet Chorus gang as they chase the Unbroken across a blade grave. They include many references to Dauntless, a relic served the Unbroken, many ill-fated attempts to find the blade. There are some crude drawings that resemble a map of the blade grave, with a sword drawn on the eastern section of the old walls. We'll take it. Infested old walls is now on the map. So let's go up. We'll take that. We'll go up here. Take all that. Looks like we're good to go. Alright, guys. So on that note, I know that there was a little bit of a cut. I wanted to check over everything, see if I could get a Rentis to sort of side with us. I want to thank everyone for continuing to watch this series. You know, if you liked the video, thumb it up. If you disliked it, thumb it down. You know, if you like this series, then go ahead and subscribe to my channel. It's not going to be as hectic as it is. However, the reason why I record so many videos right now is because I'm really trying to get, like, a full series out there. So you guys aren't waiting for me to, like, do, episodes of Tyranny or anything. So feel free to, you know, if you don't really like that style, that's fine. There's other YouTubers out there, right? So, you know, if you like my style and you like what I'm doing, go ahead and subscribe. If you don't, you know, just like the video, you'll probably see more of them. And, until next time, I hope you have a great day. This is Black Mamba 44, out.